back to the music, back to my lifestyle. Time passed, my band, my project, we got more success in the area. We started playing shows all over London, started getting airplay on the radio, becoming more successful, like kind of studio, had some kind of studio work here and there. I continued working part-time in the cinema, and my life just became even more like hedonistic. It was like a roller coaster ride, you know, trying to create this world of enjoyment, just always on a hype, you know. If you've ever lived in South London, you've like lived your, let's say your kind of teenage years in Brixton, Peckham, Camberwell, you know what I'm talking about. Whenever the night ended and I'll be at home by myself and it was quiet, I would always be faced with the reality of my own company, and kind of feeling an emptiness, you know, despite the fun lifestyle and the music and going, you know, closer to where I wanted to be with my own project. So yeah, I had this empty feeling, you know, like the one on the bus who is not satisfied with these unanswered questions. Time moved on. I got another gig playing for another big artist who basically blew on the music scene back then. And that enabled me to quit the cinema. I started touring, playing on TV shows, radio, in this person's band. And at the same time, our project was about to blow as well. That's how it was seeming, you know. We were getting bigger and bigger shows, playing at university, at freshers' nights in Manchester, and, you know, places in Birmingham, going outside of London to play different shows. So that was like the most success after Adele so far. However, this time it was like I was beginning to feel the most empty and lost. So yeah, I started seeing more examples of the soulless nature of the music industry, and how it easily changed people. You know, a number of people that I knew personally that started out wanting to create what we thought was like real, meaningful, conscious music, and they ended up basically bending their necks for record labels or A&R people in order to increase in success. You know, it opened my eyes to how fake and dominated and principleless people could really be in pursuit of success. You know, people would like literally smile in your face one day and drop you the next day like it was nothing, you know. And to be honest with you, I can't say that I wasn't guilty of this as well, you know, in trying to push my project forward. So obviously I want to apologize to those people who may be watching for that. I didn't have a moral code really back then, to be honest with you. So for the most part, people in that industry I saw as very, very corrupt, you know. Or I was beginning to see a lot of people as corrupt, you know, especially from record labels and A&R and managers. A lot of snakiness with these people. If you're in the music industry, you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Maybe there's the odd one or two, you know, decent people, but this is the norm from what I experienced. Correct me if I'm wrong. My social circle and my relationships with different people have become very dysfunctional and toxic for the most part. And this is another issue that I want to highlight. Musicians and artists are some of the most dysfunctional, sad, self-conscious people, you know, underneath the kind of the compelling image that they present to their audience. Music and the identity of the musician is not the actual person behind the image that is given to the people, you know, the self-constructed bubble that I like to call it, that is presented to the people in most cases. My clique, my projects, the people I was around basically became my identity. The music, the fashion, the language we used, you know, this is what people perceived us as. However, at the core, this wasn't the true representation of any of us, to be honest with you. I would have, for example, I'd have people that would be considered very talented musicians around me. I'm talking about the dysfunctional nature of relationships. And these people would be very talented, considered very talented musicians, the best of musicians. But there would be alcoholics suffering from depression, those who are on powerful mental health drugs because they had messed up trips because they took too much XYZ when they were younger, hence rehab, ODs, suicide, clinical depression, broken homes, these all kind of fed into this. The industry is that we were in is built around pushing this forward, exacerbating these underlying issues. Anyway, another point about the music issue in the shows, there's something called a rider. So the shows don't help with this whole culture of drugs and intoxication. Every show you go to, if you start to become big and you perform in bigger venues, you get something called a rider. So they provide alcohol, of any alcohol you want. And the bigger you get, there's options to start asking for, hard drugs. You can get these people, you can send out your people to get you whatever you want, But anyway, it was generally just like rum and all of this stuff. So this is the reason why there's so much drug abuse, and so much overdose and rehab in the industry. In the evenings, we were playing, venues, like Shepherd's Bush Academy, alongside very famous groups, performers, or in Birmingham, supporting others. In the morning, we'd be recording for Channel 4, BBC Radio 1. So I was like in a place that I'd always wanted to be. I'd always dreamed of being in this place. To be honest with you, I felt utterly lost at this time, despite the image of success. And I remember once opening up to a friend on a night bus back to Camberwell from, I think it was central London. I said to that person, I feel as if I don't know who I am. After I became a Muslim, I'll go to the future and then we'll come back. I came across the ayah, the verse in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and be not like those who forget Allah. And be not like those who forgot Allah, so He made them forget themselves. He made them forget their own selves.